Chinese civilization, refined over 5,000 years, is one of the world's oldest civilizations and the only one that has survived without extinction. For the majority of its history, China has been at the forefront of the world. Despite experiencing invasions and even periods of foreign rule, its language and culture have never vanished. Instead, they have assimilated foreign cultures, resulting in a more diverse and open cultural heritage. Even in the past century, when China missed out on the Industrial Revolution and went through periods of aggression and internal conflicts, it faced poverty. However, relying on its remarkable ideas and cultural heritage ingrained in its genes, China rapidly adjusted and rose within the past 20 years, becoming one of the most powerful countries in the world. Chinese culture and wisdom undoubtedly embody vastness, grandeur, and a sense of mystery and wonder. It is like a great melting pot, constantly assimilating foreign ideas, discarding the false and retain the true, and evolving itself. Over the course of these 5,000 long years, numerous military strategists, politicians, thinkers, and philosophers have emerged, leaving behind countless cultural treasures. Today, let us together delve into the mysterious wisdom of the East through surviving fables, allegories, and historical allusions. Studying ancient Eastern wisdom helps unlock the door to thinking, broaden horizons, and add another dimension to problem solving. It allows us to apply different wisdoms in handling various relationships and situations in reality. By combining the wisdom of the East and the West, one can excel in strategic planning and surpass others. Today, we are going to tell a story about the formation of early Chinese characters. During the era of early human tribes, before the invention of writing, information exchange was limited to language and gestures, and memory relied solely on the mind. Cang, a minister of the Yellow Emperor, was said to be born with 4 eyes, each eye having 2 pupils. Initially, people were amazed by Chang's appearance. Later on, Cang created writing, and people believed that his 4 eyes with double pupils were a sign that he was sent by the heavens to accomplish this great task, enabling him to see more and farther. In the beginning, the Huang Emperor assigned Cang to manage the domesticated animals and the stockpile of food. This was no challenge for Cang, as he was exceptionally intelligent and devoted to his tasks. He quickly became familiar with the animals and food he was responsible for, keeping the changes in quantity firmly in mind and rarely making mistakes. However, as time passed and the number of animals and food increased, the changes became too much to remember just with his mind. There were no written words, let alone paper and pen. What to do? Cang faced a dilemma. Day and night, Cang pondered, and he eventually came up with a solution. Knotted rope records. He used ropes of various colors to differentiate different types of animals and food, tying knots to represent quantities. For instance, 1 knot for 1 sheep, 2 knots for 2 sheep. Yet, this method also proved ineffective after a while. Increasing the number and tying knots on the rope was easy, but untying knots to decrease the count became troublesome. Clever Cang thought of attaching various shells to the ropes instead, symbolizing what he managed. So, when animals and food increased, a shell was added. When they decreased, a shell was removed. This method was used for several years, allowing Cang to manage the animals and food methodically. Impressed by Chang's capabilities, the Huang Emperor entrusted him with more responsibilities in the tribe. Cang was in charge of the frequency of annual ceremonies, the allocation of hunting expeditions, and the changes in the tribe's population. Cang faced another challenge: how to manage all these tasks effectively using the knotting ropes and shell hanging method? A better solution was needed. One day, while taking a walk, Cang reached a crossroads and noticed three hunters arguing. He stopped and listened closely. One said, "Go east. There are antelopes over there." Another argued, "No, head north. Not far ahead, you can catch a group of deer." The older of the three said, "Better go west. There are 2 tigers there. If you don't hurry, you'll be too late." Cang approached and asked, "How do you know there are antelopes to the east, a deer herd to the north, and tigers to the west?" The three replied in unison, "We look at the footprints on the ground, the tracks of wild beasts." Cang felt a burst of excitement within him. "That's right," he thought. "If one footprint can represent a wild animal, why can't I use a symbol to represent what I manage?" With this idea in mind, Cang hurried home, his mind racing on how to use various symbols to represent things. From then on, Cang observed his surroundings every day, the arrangement of stars in the sky, the shapes of mountains and rivers on the ground, the footprints of birds, beasts, insects, and fish, and the shapes of plants and tools. He meticulously sketched and created a wide array of symbols. When Cang saw the sun, he drew a circle with a dot in the middle. When he saw the moon, he drew a curved outline with 2 strokes to represent passing clouds. Looking at towering mountains, he depicted 3 mountain outlines to signify mountain. Observing flowing rivers, he drew wavy lines to represent water. Cang defined the meanings behind each symbol and combined them into meaningful compositions to show people. With his explanations, many were able to understand the messages conveyed by these sequences of symbols. With these symbols in hand, Cang found managing his tasks much easier. When the Yellow Emperor learned of this, he greatly admired Chang's ingenuity and sent him to various tribes to teach this method. Gradually, the usage of these symbols spread widely. And so, that's how writing came into being. From that point forward, no matter where Cang went or what he saw, he would connect his observations and experiences with the characters he had created. One day, Cang found himself in a forest. Exhausted from his journey, he decided to take a rest under a large tree. However, while his feet stopped moving, his mind continued to churn, focused on the task of creating characters. He pondered, a single tree can be represented as wood, and since there were many trees in this place, shouldn't it be appropriate to draw 2 wood characters? Yes, that's the character for forest. And a larger forest with even more trees would require 3 wood characters, forming the character dense forest. Chang's inspiration grew stronger. Thinking about himself resting under a tree, he visualized a person leaning against a tree. So, he added the character person next to wood, giving birth to the character rest. In this manner, Cang uncovered many secrets to creating characters. He continued tirelessly crafting new characters. For each character he created, he would meticulously ponder its meaning, seek the opinions of others, refine it until everyone agreed, and only then would it be officially adopted. Afterward, he would spread these characters to every tribe. The Chinese characters used today have evolved from these early pictographs. The creation of characters by Cang tells the story of Chang's significant contribution to the earliest Chinese pictographic characters. In reality, the birth of Chinese characters was not solely the work of one individual. It resulted from the long-term development and accumulation of ancient people. Recent archaeological discoveries have unearthed oracle bone script from the Shang dynasty over 3,600 years ago, pottery scripts dating back approximately 4,000 to 7,000 years, and engraved symbols on tortoise shells from around 7,000 to 10,000 years ago that exhibited characteristics of writing. The legend of Cang's character creation signifies his notable role in the development of Chinese characters. He likely played a crucial part in organizing, summarizing, and disseminating written language. Chinese characters are among the most complex. Most world languages use alphabetic combinations based on pronunciation to distinguish words' meanings, with meaning derived from sound. If the language's sounds change, so do the meanings of words. Hence, the alphabets themselves lack independent meanings. Chinese, on the other hand, can employ different characters with the same pronunciation to convey distinct meanings. Furthermore, Chinese phonetics encompass multiple tones, allowing various characters to correspond to a single pronunciation. From a different perspective, a single character can have different pronunciations, and even beyond official standards, different regions might have varying pronunciations. For instance, individuals from Shandong have their own pronunciation, as do Hakka people and Taiwanese people. However, the underlying meanings remain consistent. This unique aspect of Chinese characters unifies diverse languages and ethnicities, constituting the foundation of Chinese culture. Chinese characters serve not only as phonetic symbols but also as representations of meaning and structural form. Each character resembles a picture, and those who understand Chinese characters can extract various compositional details from a single character. Chinese characters effectively utilize their medium, conveying ample information through a simple approach. Consequently, Chinese characters are highly efficient. For instance, the four letters A, B, C, and D can yield up to 24 meanings when arranged in a linear manner, but Chinese characters employ a two-dimensional arrangement. With the same A, B, C, and D sequence in clockwise order, changing the position of yields two states, leading to 48 distinguishable meanings. This effectively doubles the differentiation of meanings without increasing strokes, saving time in writing and materials required. Among all the languages in the world, Chinese characters carry the highest amount of information, making them the most efficient means of communication. For the same content, a book translated into Chinese would be much thinner. Linguists generally believe that the entropy of the English alphabet is about 3.9 bits per letter, whereas according to measurements by Claude Shannon, the entropy of the alphabet of Chinese characters is about 9.56 bits per character, making it 2.45 times more efficient than English. The only entities that can surpass the information-carrying capacity of Chinese characters are probably mathematical symbols. Due to the extensive information conveyed by Chinese characters, even a slight alteration in a sentence, adding, deleting, or just repositioning a punctuation mark, can result in a completely different meaning for the entire sentence. This is one of the crucial reasons why many Western scholars nowadays easily misconstrue the actual meanings of the Chinese language. Chinese characters total over 3,000. Whereas there are only 26 letters in the alphabet. The process of learning the meanings and writing of all these characters might be arduous, but once mastered, describing something becomes relatively simple. Even without prior exposure to a specific domain's specialized terminology, one can understand the meaning. Here's an example. He ma guai kong jujing. In Chinese versus the English word hippopotomonstrossesquipedaliophobia. While many might not comprehend the English term, almost everyone who understands Chinese characters can discern the meaning of this condition, fear of long words. The meaning of a Chinese character's strokes remains stable, unaffected by variations in sound or environment. Moreover, from these strokes, we can decipher the societal conditions, economic activities, and cultural trends of the character's creation era. A Chinese character can be seen as encapsulating history, a narrative within itself. In ancient times, other civilizations also developed pictographic writing, such as ancient Egypt's hieroglyphics and Sumer's cuneiform. However, their cultures eventually waned, whereas China's lineage has endured, undergoing continuous development and refinement, resulting in the mature Chinese characters we have today. The endurance of civilization depends significantly on the preservation of its written language, the vessel for its cultural legacy. So, that's why we say that Chinese civilization is the only civilization in the world today that has persisted without extinction, holding within it thousands of years of rich intellectual wisdom, waiting for us to unearth. Don't miss out on this potentially life-changing opportunity. If you want to gain more insightful wisdom, go ahead and tap that like button, subscribe to our channel, and help us keep producing high-quality content. And don't forget to click the bell icon below the video, so you'll be the first to receive our latest updates, and never miss a chance to enhance yourself.